And they're, oh, look at this. I'll interrupt because we got our first result. This is a major suburban higher income area. This is Oakland County. This is one of the biggest. And here is the initial batch of votes. Now, this is about 9% of what we're expecting to come out of here, although that is a turnout estimate we've made from our own decision desk. That could change through the night. So we are seeing here, about 15,000, a little bit less than 15,000 votes. And this is interesting. Donald Trump, you see here, is leading by about 5.5 points over Nikki Haley. What I was just about to say was Oakland County is exactly one of those counties you would look for if Haley is going to be having a good night. Because Oakland County, Detroit is right here. You got the 8-mile road that separates it from its northern suburbs, and the two big northern suburban counties are right here. We're looking at one of them, Oakland, and right to its east is Macomb County. Demographically, they're polar opposites. Macomb is the blue-collar suburban county, sort of built by the UAW, and Oakland is the more economically upscale suburb, a lot more college degrees, a lot more of a sort of economically affluent college graduates. Together, they're going to make up, about 20% of all the vote that is cast in Michigan tonight, maybe 25%. And you could see Haley, this vote, and we're not sure what it's representative of. We want to see more come in. But if anything like this is happening in Oakland County, that's a pretty strong showing for Nikki Haley. Again, just saying pretty strong in the sense, not that puts her in contention necessarily to win the state, but when you see that she got 43 in New Hampshire, that she got 40 in South Carolina, if she wants to be hitting that number or going north of it, this is one of the places that she needs to be, competitive and probably winning by the end of the night if she wants to have that kind of a night. We can just show you in 2016, this is the last time there was a competitive Republican primary in Michigan. Donald Trump was running for the first time. He won that primary with 37% of the vote. You see, he did do well here. He did win Oakland County a little bit off of his statewide total, but this was also one of the better counties for John Kasich, who was kind of occupying that more moderate wing, appealing to a lot of those college-educated voters who have been against Trump, who have been siding with Nikki Haley. So that's an interesting first report we're getting out of Oakland. And look at that. We've got more votes now coming out. Oakland County, the show is yours right now. Keep the votes coming in. And you can see here, Trump has actually built a bit of a bigger lead. So, again, this is now, if it starts moving in Trump's direction from that initial 49-43, then Haley's not in a position where she's going to be getting the kind of number she got out of New Hampshire, South Carolina. But you could see it's early. We've already seen some movement in that number. But this is one we want to keep coming back to a lot tonight because this is big. This is population dense. And again, this is a very good barometer for how the night is going to go, if well or poorly for Nikki Haley. The other place to be looking, and maybe some of it will light up in just a few minutes in terms of a barometer for Haley's strength and Trump's weakness, if there is any here tonight, would be in this area right around Grand Rapids. That's Kent County, where Grand Rapids is. That is also Ottawa County immediately to its west. And there are a couple other counties. There's a 5-county region here that's going to make up about 17% of the Republican vote. And what's interesting is this region of the state, a lot of it's traditionally Republican and conservative, but starting in 2016, is very strongly averse to Donald Trump himself. Even as he was winning big time in the statewide vote in 2016, he was doing terribly in this part of the state. Take a look at Ottawa County, and this is a big one. Holland, Michigan is here. Trump only got 19.5% here. Basically half his statewide total. Look in Kent County, where Grand Rapids is. Third place for Donald. Donald Trump won 72 of Michigan's 83 counties in 2016. But the 5-county zone around here that I'm talking about, he didn't win a single one of them, and he came in third in 2 of them. So this area here, if Haley's going to be doing anything tonight, she needs not just to be winning it, she needs to be racking up big numbers in this part of the state. Because the other thing is we're giving you areas where Haley could be strong tonight. We mentioned, though, Macomb, the blue-collar suburb of Detroit. Famously, that's the home of the Reagan Democrats way back. Donald Trump, when he won Michigan in the 2016 general election, he flipped Macomb to the Republicans. So that should be a Trump strength tonight. And basically, let's just draw a line here, kind of north of Saginaw. You got Bay City here. A lot of land area, including the UP. This is only going to total all combined, about 15% of the Republican vote tonight. But these are largely, with a couple of exceptions, these are largely rural counties, working class, filled with white voters who don't have college degrees, and that's been Trump's really strong core group. And some of these counties, when Trump first ran for president in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, they moved 20, 30 points from their 2012 levels. A lot of these counties were blue. A lot of them voted for Barack Obama. They became red and deeply red in the era of Trump. They stayed there in 2020. So this is going to be a source of strength for him tonight, even if it's not a huge share of the statewide vote. So Trump country up here, potentially Trump trouble country over here, and a tale of two counties we're going to be watching in Oakland County and then right next door in Macomb County. But again, all we have right now is, I should reset this to statewide. All we have right now is vote from Oakland, a little bit more coming in, getting it to about 1/5 here. And this is starting, again, the movement now. We've seen a couple ticks of movement here. This kind of margin for Trump. Again, this should be a strong county for Haley. And if you're using that New Hampshire and South Carolina performance, again, 40% overall of the vote, this is starting to get on the low end potentially for here in Oakland. But again, 18%, we'll see what happens.
Can we, let's go quickly just over to the, do we have Democratic vote? We should have some Democratic
Great question.
vote.
We have it in Oakland County, yes.
There you go.
And there you go. So now about a quarter of the vote on the Democratic side here. We're expecting lower turnout on the Democratic side than the Republican side. And there it is. Oakland County picking up here, almost 9% of the vote for uncommitted. And that's the big question, as you're saying, how that's going to do statewide. One thing to keep in mind on the Democratic side is not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, but the delegate rules are different on the Democratic side. Delegates are given out by congressional district, and anybody, including uncommitted, which is not a person, but uncommitted, if it hits 15% in any congressional district, is going to start collecting convention delegates. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Oakland County, it's obviously significant on the Democratic side, but I think the real test for uncommitted is going to come just south of there. First of all, in Wayne County, that is obviously where Detroit is, but it's also where the city of Dearborn is. Dearborn, a majority Arab American city of about 110,000 people. It also has the largest concentration per capita of Muslim Americans of any city in the United States. Dearborn in Wayne County. And then you go right next door to the west to Washtenaw County. This is a big college county. This is where the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor is. It is also where Eastern Michigan University is. And you've certainly seen that storyline of young voters, college-age voters, especially on the Democratic side, expressing strong displeasure with Joe Biden, his handling of the Israel-Hamas war. And if that is going to turn into votes against Biden of a protest nature, if you're not seeing it, in Washtenaw County, it's probably not going to be a big thing anywhere.